Joining us, I am Yori Folani. Well, our guest this morning, he's well known to the public in the sense that he's a media practitioner. In fact, until recently, he was an Arise TV analyst. But today we meet Mr. Emmanuel Bello as Special Advisor to Taraba State Governor on Media and Digital Communications. A fine morning to you, Emmanuel.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Pleasure to be here, yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet up with you. Now, well, the governor, Mr. Governor Abu Kefas, he's been 10 months on the job. And when he arrived, it was with much promise. He had actually pledged to do his utmost to transform Taraba State, you know. And, well, 10 months down the line, very, very shortly, it'll be, he'll have had a quarter of his first term. And so we thought we'd check in and find out. So how is it going? Give me an opening statement as to how challenging redeeming that pledge has been or not.
Well, thank you, Yori. And it's a good thing that you started with the talk about redeeming pledge. Because, you know, it's one thing for people to go to on campaigns and get in the talk, and, you know, just to get votes. That's what politicians do. But leaders, the type of Dr. Abu Kefas, governor of Taraba State, is that they go back and check on the promises of those campaigns and, of course, fulfill them. As I speak to you now, we just returned from one of such fulfillments of a campaign promise. So it's one thing for politicians to make pledges at campaign, but it's another thing to wonder if they're going to fulfill them. While he was, you know, lighting up one of our local governments, the Sedona local government, they have not had lights for the last 20 years. But he was able to fix, we're able to use all sort of, you know, technology to be able to fix the electricity in that place. He told them clearly that this is a fulfillment of a campaign promise, because while he was there on campaign, he told them that one of the first things he's going to do is ensure that they have light. And he's brought the light indeed to that area. That's where you have the Mambila Plateau, the famed world-class Mambila Plateau, that is actually also home to the Mambila Hydro Power Dam. So, to your question about fulfilling promises, what we are seeing is a governor that did not renege in anything. There was nothing he said during the campaigns that he's not fulfilling now. Campaigns are over. It's time for governance. And what Dr. Kefas is doing is providing clear-cut governance across board on almost every sector. Whatever he promised, I can take you point on everything he promised. He said he was going to offer free education. He's doing that. During the campaign, he said he was going to ensure that Taraba is secure. He said his first job is to ensure that Taraba is secure. I can assure you that he's doing that. He's putting all the funding, all the intelligence, all the meetings that needs to be in place to ensure that Taraba is safe. So he fulfills campaign promises. You know, the crisis we have in this country is politicians who go out just to get votes. And after that, they disappear. Fulfilling those promises are no longer for them a priority. They've gotten the power that they are looking for, and so they just leave and just disappear. But what this governor is doing is matching his work with matching the talk with the work. So what he's doing is ensuring that everything he said on the campaign trail is time for fulfillment. And in the last 10 months, it has been a story of how he's going about fulfilling every one of the things he said during the campaign. Because he didn't engage in a flippant campaign. He didn't engage in just talk. And I think that's why the Taraba people voted him. And they saw a man that was sincere, that was honest, that was transparent, that was going to match his talk with the work. He was going to match everything he said with action. They saw that in him, and I think among all the other action, So among all the other aspirants that were running at the time, they decided that this is the candidate for them. They're just grateful that, yes, he didn't just play them to get their votes, but now he's actually doing what he's supposed to do, the hard work of governance.
Okay. You know, it's interesting that we started off on this point, and the very first thing you said out the bat was a community in the world-famous Mambila Plateau that is known for many things, I think tea and all of that, that there are, he's just brought electrification to a community in that area. How on earth did that happen, considering the fame that the Mambila Plateau has? You would have thought that everywhere around a place that is so well known, Nigeria and internationally, could not be in that situation. So what happened?
Exactly. That's why I say this for him is, this for us, all of us, for him and for the rest of the state, is very symbolic of the kind of governor that we have in place. That a place that naturally shouldn't be talking about darkness, that should have been the crown jewel of Nigerian tourism efforts, but because of the negligence over the years, the Mambila hydropower dam there has largely remained a mirage. I think government after government have tried to address electricity problem, and that place, the Mambila Plateau, holds the secret to the crisis of electricity. I will say, because it has the potential to generate those huge megawatts. But again, government after government, especially federal government, the federal government has not been able to do anything about it. And then, of course, the people there too have actually largely remained in the dark in the last 20 years. And this governor thought that it's an anathema, it's blasphemous that the people should be enjoying. And Mambila Plateau, I don't know when you'll be free, so I'll take you to that place. It's actually one of the finest places in the country. You just find yourself in Europe suddenly, because the weather, everything, the scenery, everything there. There'll be a lot of talk about it. Most people say that it's paradise lost, but they try to also discover it. So such a place shouldn't be in those that kind of condition. And so this governor swung it. It's just the tip of the iceberg on the main thing.
Indeed. Because
on the Mambila.
When you talk about it being the tip of the iceberg, I can begin to imagine, because there are quite a number of other things that we're also able to talk about and find out what progress development has occurred. Of course, all of the plans, you've spoken about one so far, but all of the plans that Governor Kefas must have is going to cost money. So I don't know how internally generated revenue is going to factor into this. And in this regard, I was wondering if the development of the solid mineral sector will have a part in all of this.
Yes, one of the narratives that the governor is changing, and one of the ones he didn't really like when he came up with this whole talk that Taraba is a poor state. He doesn't like that talk that we're poor state, or we're in the lower rungs of when you look at the gradings around the country about states that are poor. He doesn't believe in that. We don't believe in that. And that, of course, this revolutionary stride that is making, we require a lot of money, we require a lot of funding. And that's why this governor is looking inwards to jack up our internally generated revenue. Yes, one area is solid minerals, and that's why this governor ensured that as soon as he came in, he stopped all illegal mining that was going on in that sector. So that, there are gold deposits all over the country.
Emmanuel, sorry to jump in. Sorry to jump in, Emmanuel. How big a problem was illegal mining in Taraba? And what are the minerals concerned? What are the specific minerals that people were lying?
Taraba is arguably, I know of a state that calls itself the solid minerals capital of Nigeria, but Taraba probably should be between that. Taraba is supposed to be called the solid mineral headquarters of the country. A lot of solid minerals out here. You can mention all of them. You have them here, whether it's gold, whether diamond, all sort of things, buried under the earth here. But over the years, the state not reaping the benefits from that because of illegal mining, because billions have been carted away. The last finding shows that we've lost a lot. Almost as what's happening at the federal level, where the minister keep crying that we're losing a lot of money, even as a country. Taraba had its own experience, and Taraba case is unique because if we leverage on the wealth, on the deposits that God on his wisdom deposited here, we can actually run away or reduce our dependence on oil money and the money that come from the Federation.
Sorry again, but so do you think that the government has the illegal mining situation of their operations well under control now? Is it different, would you say, from before Governor Kefas took over?
Yeah, when he came in, this governor has a lot of training in this area. He's a former intelligence officer. He's been a soldier. He spent 20 years in the military and in the intelligence the unit of the military. So he understands, the illegality around some of those kind of issues. So one of the things he did, to show the seriousness with which the government, wants to attack the problem, was to declare a state of emergency in the solid mineral sector. And by doing that, he clamped down on all illegal mining. He stopped it. We set up a task force headed by a retired general, General Faransa, who is going to go after all illegal miners, stop their activities, and see how we are going to actually ensure that the state begins to reap the benefits strongly. Cut off the middlemen and all the other partners partnering with illegal mining to ensure that we can get the best we can. This state was losing a whole lot. Well, at one time, there was a discovery of what they call the Madrid in the state, and we were not getting what we were supposed to get from it. So I say all this because you actually asked you asked the question on how the governor is going to fund his
Yes.
very, very revolutionary ideas. The dreams for instance, free education, providing access to good health, funding the health sector, funding transportation for people, helping the farmers with fertilizers or tractors and all that. How are we going to achieve that? And I said, look, well, the governor has thought out all of that, and during the campaign, he said that there won't be a problem. And you agree with me, Yuri, that sometimes it is not just the problem of resources, but how to prudently use these resources, how to put them in the right places. It's part of the problem in the national discourse. There's a whole lot of talk about waste, a lot of discussion around how to prudently use resources to achieve what we are supposed to achieve. In Taraba State, we have a governor that has internalized that. I've said, look, we're going to cut waste, so we're going to reduce the overhead. So we're going to make very prudent use of what we've got. Those are low-hanging fruits that every state can tap into. In our own case, we have got solid minerals to tap into. We've got agriculture. We've also got tourism to actually tap into to see how we're going to show up our internally generated revenue. And with prudence,